Hello. So Moni, you're coming to Israel next month?
Not next month.
Ah.
This Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's close.
That's right.
It's close. Yeah, you're gonna do the whole 14-day quarantine and all that?
Is that it? Is that what they do now?
Yeah. I'm in quarantine. I'm finishing mine this Thursday.
Oh wow! Really? What
yeah.
does
How did you get food?
Well, that's a great question. First of all, deliveries still work, although where I'm at, there are not a lot of deliveries. We're at Shoresh near Jerusalem. But we did get like a supermarket delivery. There's like a tzarchaniya downstairs, so he's been very helpful, and he got us food. And our parents and got us like some cooked food, and it's been fine. Where are you going to be doing the quarantine?
I guess in my apartment in Tel Aviv.
Oh, that's easy. Everything can get there.
And you really cannot leave the apartment for 14 days?
Yes, and also we're broadcasting live at the moment. But yes, the answer is yes. It's definitely yes.
Wow. So people will have actually to bring me food, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you can do deliveries. You can do deliveries from supermarket or
but you have
like that.
How do you do it? You call them?
Yeah. It's a bit less convenient than in the States, but it still works.
Mm-hmm. And it's not online. You have to call them, right?
I think some and some. We're calling. Where we're at, it's a small supermarket, so we can call it. Hello, everyone. We're having a small talk about the quarantine in Israel, where I'm at. We have Moni Akim and Boaz Yakin on the call already, and Alma Har'el will open her camera probably very, very soon. Hello, Alma. Thanks for joining us. You're on mute. And you're back on mute? Great. Thank you. So we're just gonna wait for another 2-3 minutes. Then we're gonna watch a very short clip from the film, and then we'll start talking. So Boaz and Alma, where are you at the moment?
Alma's in Los Angeles and I'm in New York.
Great. Good. Okay, so we're going to be streaming through this Zoom talk, of course, to everyone that's logging in at the moment. And also we're streaming this through, great, just got the update. We're streaming this both through Israel in New York Facebook page and Culture Buzz Facebook page. So hello to everyone through these live streams too. We're going to start very, very soon.
Look forward to it.
מוני
אלמלה שלי.
אז עכשיו אני אראה אותך כל הזמן בארץ.
יופי, אם אפשר.
Forever.
הוא אמר לי עכשיו שאנחנו נצטרך להיות בקוורנטין.
לכמה זמן? לשבועיים.
14 יום, כן.
טוב, זה לא נורא, אתה רגיל.
בכלל לא נורא, רגיל זה לא מילה, אני סגור פה חודשים כבר.
אני כבר לא זוכרת מה היה לפני זה.
לגמרי, definitely.
יצאתי החוצה השבוע וכזה, זה היה כמו איזה חלום להיות בחוץ.
Hi everyone that just joined us. We're going to start very, very soon. I think in about 1 minute, we're going to start with watching a short clip, and then we're going to talk to our 3 wonderful guests tonight, Moni Akim, Boaz Yakin, and Alma Har'el.
Is the interview in English or in Hebrew?
It will be in English, yes.
In English.
Yes, we have people both from the States, and I saw that we have some from other places,
Right.
including Israel, but hopefully English will work for everybody.
because if it is in Hebrew, my name is Moni Yakin. In English,
okay.
it's Moni Yakim.
Yakin. So I think I'll stick to Yakin today.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Here we go.
I find actors really the most interesting people.
It's an act of empathy. If you can't
Absolutely.
empathize, how can you play another character other than yourself? If you don't have, it's the ultimate empathy.
You have to have
empathetic act.
incredible understanding, knowledge of the human character. Today, an actor cannot be just, the way once they used to be with them, all about the speech.
Yeah. When I was at Juilliard, I was just an unformed amoeba of insecurity. Like, what's the right way to do it? There's a right way and a wrong way. I was very in my head, and Moni Yakim got me out of my head into my body. A lot of it is getting to know yourself, and a lot of it is getting to forget yourself.
Hey, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us and tuning in to this discussion of the film Creating a Character, the Moni Yakim Legacy. We are broadcasting this talk both through Zoom and Facebook Live through our Israel in New York Facebook page, and also through culture bars to around the world. So it's great to have everyone with us. This event is hosted by the Office of Cultural Affairs, the Consulate General of Israel in New York. My name is Daniel Zeus, and I am Director of Film for the Consulate. I would like to quickly thank, first of all, the wonderful Budi Kochavi, the Israeli Consul of Cultural Affairs in North America, my dear colleague René Schreiber, Director of Performing Arts, for the support and help putting this event together. I would also like to thank Miriam Khononov, Director of Programming and Public Affairs, for her generous assistance in preparing and managing this event. And now to our panelists. First of all, Moni Akim, the protagonist of this film, of course. Moni is a legendary Israeli-American movement teacher at the Juilliard Drama Department. Moni has taught actors like Kevin Kline, Oscar Isaac, Viola Davis, Adam Driver, Laura Linney, Jessica Chastain, and so many others. Moni was the founder and artistic director of the Performance Theater Center's PTC Training Center, and was the principal performer with the mime companies of Etienne Decroux and Marcel Marceau. Moni, it's such a privilege to have you with us today.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Good. Boaz Yakin, who is a co-producer of this film, is an Israeli-American screenwriter, film director, and producer based in New York City. His many directing credits include the box office hit Remember the Titans, Max, and most recently, the beautiful, bold, and original Aviva, which is also currently being screened in US in virtual theaters, so you should definitely check that out. And also, Boaz is also Moni Akim's son. Hi, Boaz.
Hi.
It's great to have you.
Nice.
That's
you
my
doing?
greatest achievement.
Great. That's a nice way to start. Alma Har'el, who co-produced the film, is an Israeli-American award-winning director whose work includes documentaries Bombay Beach and Love True, and most recently her debut narrative feature Honey Boy, written by and starring Shia LaBeouf, which made her the first woman to win the DGA Award for first-time feature. Was also recently invited to join the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Congrats for that, Alma, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Moni, I will start with you with just a super kind of basic question going back to your origins. What first brought you to acting and to theater?
My brother wanted to save me from roaming the streets, and he was trying to send me to all kinds of school, which I resisted insistently. And he came one day and asked me whether I want to be an actor. And the first time in my life that he heard the word yes from me. So that's how it started. My brother sent me to a theater group that was forming in Jerusalem. I joined them. And from then on, it was a long theatrical journey.
Wow, wow. I listened recently to a Zoom talk you did also promoting this film with Jessica Chastain, which is, of course, a former student of yours and executive producer on the film. And you mentioned Shaike Ophir, the iconic Israeli actor, as an influence on you. I was interested if you'd be willing to elaborate on that.
Well, Shaike Ophir was my inspiration for mime, because I was an actor and I did not know about mime at all until I saw Shaike Ophir. And when I saw it, simply he blew my mind. I thought that he was incredible, and I still think that he was a semi-genius, and that he was like the most talented person in Israel. I was so enamored with everything that he did, to the point where I decided that this is what I want to do in my life. And that's how I veered from acting for a certain time into mime. That's what made me decide to go and study actually with the teacher of Shaike Ophir, who was Etienne de Croo. And yeah, so Shaike was my greatest influence artistically.
And I want to jump in and say something that I don't even know if I ever told Moni, but I have to say Shaike Ophir is actually connecting all of us in a way, because I'm a little younger than Moni, not by that much. But when I was very little, my father, Shaike Ophir, was like the biggest thing that we would always watch, you know, and enjoy both his skits and his recordings, and then, you know, and Talat Blaumlich and Shuter Zulai. And then when I was 12, he worked at Aviva Theater, my dad, as somebody who worked with like kind of the, you know, the back of the I don't know how to say it, the fora, like of
stage hand.
Stage handling.
Stage hand.
Okay, and then Shaike was there playing in Melech Matya Rishon, the Matya king. It was like a play by Dvorah Omer. And I got obsessed with the theater because I saw Shaike in that play, and I ended up finding out that they were auditioning for that play for some of the children roles, and I took a bus from Rehovot to Tel Aviv and auditioned for it and got the part. And I actually played with Shaike in that play for a whole year, and would drive on a bus to do it, and I had like 2 lines maybe in the whole play, but I was so excited to be in the same play with Shaike Ophir. And it really, I think, kind of what started all my love to theater and, you know, and film and everything that followed.
Wow. Wow, that's a great anecdote. Thank you. This next one is for Boaz. I'm interested, it's actually also for Alma, but maybe first to Boaz. I'm interested about how this film, you know, came to life. I mean, is producing or making a film about your father something you were thinking about for a long time? Did you always know you were going to do this, or?
Not at all. Actually, the film started out, it had an interesting evolution. My dad, Moni, decided that he wanted to make a short film, more or less, illustrating some of his techniques, preserving some of his teaching techniques. And so he hired the director of this film, Razar Alexander, and one of the producers, Kaylee. And they started working on a film, and they started filming it. And, you know, they discussed it with me. I talked to it, but I didn't really know what they were doing. And actually it was Alma who saw like a 2-minute teaser that Razar had cut together of what he was doing. And Alma got so excited about it that she was like, this has to become a feature. This has to become a feature. And I got kind of dragged into doing a feature about my dad, and we turned it, and it extended for another 2-3 years after that. And we Razar filmed for years, and finally we edited it and everything. But it was really Alma seeing the potential in the footage and in my dad's story that made the film transform from a short piece into the feature that it is today.
Oh. And how long did that whole process take?
I think like 5 or 6 years.
Dad?
Probably 5 or 6 years.
It was
Moni, do you agree?
5 years, yeah.
5 years?
5 years. Wow. And however, it was not even my idea doing the film. It was a student of mine, an ex-student of mine who became a teacher and became my colleague, that actually had the idea and presented it to the director of Juilliard without me knowing about it. It was later on when they agreed to give all the support that's possible, they asked me whether I'll agree to it. And I agreed to it reluctantly because I hate when people come and disturb my classes. And they promised to do it very discreetly. And that's how it started. It started.
And how did?
Yeah.
How did that continue for you? I mean, as the filming went on, how did that feel for you to be documented in this kind of way? I mean, you've been on stage obviously many times, but this is different, right?
I didn't mind them coming to classes and filming the classes because they really did it very discreetly. I hate being interviewed, as I am not exactly excited about doing this one. However, I feel that I should do it. And I'm doing it.
Thank you.
But interviews is not my forte. I'm good at being with 18 people in a room and working or acting or doing, but not exactly, explaining my work. It's not something I like to do.
Well, you do it pretty well, I must say, from the few times that I did watch you doing interviews until now.
It takes a lot of effort.
Okay, we'll try to ease it on you. Alma, so in addition to you obviously being a producer in the film, you also directed those beautiful mime sequences that are included in the film. Right. And I was wondering at what point of the making of this film did the creative team feel that this, I mean, did you know from the beginning that this needs to happen, that you want to make these sequences, or did it come at some point in the process? How did that work?
No, I think Razar had a really beautiful vision for the film in terms of like the cinematography that he did in the classes and wanting to do actually more and more of the classes. I think Razar would have filmed the classes forever if we let him. He was just so engaged with the technique, and his cinematography is so beautiful, and he loved the physicality of it, and the way it's kind of can be very jazzy and improvisational, and so he was very focused on that. And I think I actually, like, at a certain point just kind of felt that it would be beautiful to show some of the pieces that Moni and Mina used to do when they were younger and had their own theater company, and just kind of film them now. And it was some of the best days of my life when I got to film it and practice it with them in Boaz's apartment. Exactly where he's sitting is where we rehearsed it. And I couldn't stop laughing the whole time, I think, when Moni was, especially when Moni was doing that one with the, when he's like explaining to someone how to, I think I have like a video of myself laughing at that for a long hour. So yeah, it was such an honor to see them do it together. It was like very, very magical. All you had to do is point the camera at them.
Wow. Moni, I think it's an inevitable question to ask a movement teacher in these days. Obviously, for the last few months, we've all been social distancing, and it really changes how we do pretty much everything. But I think that for acting classes, it's a whole different ballpark of I mean, how it changes the way you work. And I'm interested how you feel about teaching acting through Zoom. Can it be done?
It can be done, but I don't believe in it personally. Because I mean, when you act, you are not alone. You are with other people. And the acting comes from what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you observe, what you take in, what goes on in your brain, in your mind. And this comes out from your surrounding. So I find it extremely, extremely difficult. I could fill up the gap, you know, by devising some kind of a program, but I decided finally not to do it because I was not too satisfied with it, and not from what I've seen that other people do as well. So instead of that, I decided that it would be better, you know, if these students who are at a place where anxiety is really overwhelming and inner tension occurs, and I wanted to ease their lives a little bit. So instead of teaching acting, I taught special kind of meditation, really to release a little bit the inner pressure and the tension. So that's what I did. And I took off from really teaching either movement or acting for a time until we can really meet in the room again.
Understood. Thank you. So first of all, to the audience, you are very welcome to start sending us questions through the Q&A function, and we would love to hear from you. And in the meantime, this one is for both Boaz and Alma. I felt that the choice to include Alex Sharp, which is Moni's student that goes on in the film and outside of it, of course, to win a Tony for the curious incident of the dog in the nighttime, in the film was very smart, as it gave a richer perspective of Moni's work, and kind of, I think it created a fuller portrait of Moni and his work. I am wondering at what point this storyline became a part of the film. Were there more characters of Moni's student that you were thinking about including as other storylines in the film?
Well, basically what you see as a result of like 6 years of filming by the director Razar, and he followed 3 or 4 students from the inception of their entrance to Juilliard, year 1, all the way through year 4. It just so happened, fortuitously, almost miraculously, that Alex Sharp got a role in a Broadway show while we were filming him. And not only that, won the Tony. And not only that, the role itself is a physical role that almost note for note employs the kind of teaching that my dad focuses on at the school. So it was a gift, you know? And when looking how to structure the documentary, it just presented itself to show, to weave in the parallel journey of seeing how the teaching and style that he's learning helps him grow and grow until finally you see how it's, you know, actualized in the real world through this performance and this award. We actually did follow a few other students, but that happened, and it was the gift that allowed us to kind of structure the movie around it.
Thanks. So I see we already have some questions from the audience, and let's see. So Dalia Segal is asking, I will translate from Hebrew. Moni, are you going back to teaching? Are you and Mina, your wife, which is of course also in the film and a teacher in Juilliard, are you and Mina going to go back to teaching?
I decided to flow with the stream. I'm not making any decisions now. And is that my friend Dalia Segal? Yeah.
If she tells us in the chat, I will know. Yes, it is.
I'll come to visit her in Herzliya, tell her.
Okay. So Dalia, Moni is on the way, and he's coming to visit Israel very soon, so you can count on that. Right, Moni?
Yeah,
Great.
so I really am not sure what I'll be doing next, but I'm extremely excited returning to Israel. And I hope that I can contribute there whatever I can. If anyone would ask me, I'll be very happy, you know, to share of my experience. And so I'm not really making final decisions. I have a lot of projects that I'm working on. I have some writing projects of plays that I'm working on. So I'll see how things evolve in a natural way rather than imposing something on me at this time.
Yeah, thank you. And we have a question from Limor Kaufman. How do you see the movie industry coping with the pandemic? Do you see a possibility for movies to be made as long as the pandemic is going on? I guess this is more for Boaz and for Alma.
Alma, do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, in terms of predicting the future, I think like I always prefer to be present, I guess. So I don't really have a lot of predictions. I guess I think that I have immense faith in storytelling in general, and the need for stories to be told, and the need for artists to, kind of digest our narratives and help us illuminate who we are. And I think that will never stop, but whether it's going to be on a big screen or on a small screen for a while, I think is less important than, I guess, the health of people and where the world is heading in terms of all the other, storms that we're going through right now, both politically.
Thanks, yeah. Boaz, do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, it's like, who knows?
I agree.
Knows? I mean, every day you wake up, it's like, what the fuck just happened to? So, I mean, it's really hard to predict anything right now.
Definitely.
I know there are some people getting back to work here and there.
Yeah, there's people filming in New Zealand and in a lot of places that are already kind of better equipped to deal with. Obviously, the U.S. is not leading the way, so we're just kind of in survival mode here.
Yeah. Let's see. I have some more questions here. This is from Arnie Mazer. How many hours of raw footage did you film, and how long was your editing process?
Boy.
I
don't think you need to be exact with the hours.
Well, we have no idea, honestly, how many hours. Many, but most documentaries you shoot a tremendous amount. Just again, it was about 6 years worth of shooting. So many classes, so many it was a huge amount of footage. And the editor, James, who was on it, worked on it for about a year. I worked on it with him for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And that's what we finally came up with.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Corey is okay. Corey is asking about the possibility of taking a class in the future, but I think we already agreed that it's very hard to predict at the moment what's going to happen. And we have some more questions here. Okay, this one is for Moni. How much of your background and childhood in Jerusalem affected your identity as a creator and educator, arriving into the saturated abundance that is New York City? How has being a foreigner shaped your creative process?
Definitely my background was with me my entire artistic journey. I used to be a little bit eruptive, if you want to call it so, when I was a kid, and which led me artistically to get away a little bit from thinking too much, from being overly intellectual, because I found that acting, the way I saw it and the way I learned it with my master, Etienne de Croo and Stella Adler, the acting instinct was the most important part, and the imagination, of course, a most important part of the profession. So I was rich with that because I was extremely impulsive, instinctive in my youth, in my childhood, and that's how I was as an artist when I acted, and when I started to teach. That always was the leading aspect of my development.
Thank you. I have another question here from Andy Terstein, was saying, for a while there was a kind of mime they used to call corporal mime, I think, rather abstract. Do you think there's a place again for narrative pantomime, telling stories with the body?
I'm not sure. I really am not sure, because at the time it was something so different and so new. And I think that it has been absorbed by theater and by dance to the point where it doesn't make sense to do pure mime anymore. I mean, you have dancers today who actually execute mime to perfection, especially the great ones. I mean, you know, Michael Jackson was a great mime. A lot of dancers, a lot of actors can use their physicality and their body in a way that's very interesting and provoking. And so I think that as an art form by itself, it's not going to contribute much to the world of theater.
But I want to say that, like, I obviously agree with everything Moni says, but I want to say that, like, mime has so many, you know, beautiful children, like, and physical theater has been kind of developed into so many whimsical forms of expression that kind of rely on mime, you know, and there's amazing artists today that, like Aurelia Thierry, I think you pronounce her name, who's like Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter, who does like these incredibly whimsical, you know, plays that are all mime. I mean, there's no dialogue or anything, but it's a lot of, you know, kind of physical theater, I guess, and all sorts of like magical interactions with objects. And so, you know, mime is maybe not like as pure as it used to be, and Moni was a real purist and studied with the father of mime, who was the most purist of them all. And I'm not talking about Marcel Marceau, who actually made it more entertaining, but about the crew. So maybe that form of mime is not, you know, existing in that form, but it's definitely informed so much of physical theater as we see it today.
You are absolutely right. And that form of mime is the only mime that I still consider the real mime. Yes. And the other thing, you know, as you said, you know, these are offshoots. They use mime and they incorporate it with whatever it needs to be incorporated. But as far as pure mime, I think that because pure mime at the time was more abstract with the crew, and it moved more towards dance. And I think that dance really took over. I mean, when you see what people do in dance today, it's simply amazing. A lot of things that the crew at the time predicted are happening, not calling it mime, but dance.
Yeah. Another question I wanted to ask both Boaz and Alma about, I mean, did you and also the director, did you have any specific references in mind when you were going forward? I mean, were you thinking of specific films about performing schools and about the craft of teaching performing arts when you started making this film?
Honestly, I mean, I think every filmmaker should speak for themselves, but documentaries have a way of finding themselves more than a lot of films where there's like a particular intention or style from the get-go. So this was really a result of Razar having a certain style of filming and a certain style of editing that he started to work with. So you could see a kind of a rhythmic and kind of musical sense of what he was trying to do and where he was getting with his filmmaking. And then as the project just went on and we had to form a story, some of those stylistic things and energetic things worked their way into it, but we had to find it. The Alex Sharp thing that you talked about was brought in. My dad's childhood, all the photos and footage from Jerusalem and Paris in the past, they all wound their way in, but it was sort of a feeling out process based on a reaction to the style that Razar was bringing to his filmmaking.
Got it. Yeah. So I have another question here from the audience, and I think this is going to be the last one as we are nearing the end of our time. So this one is from Rami Shurvitz. There was one shot in the movie in which Moni was walking around inside a museum. I was wondering if museums are a place that inspire and contribute to his work, to your work, Moni?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. Since my basic training, the serious training was mime, I used to study actually very deeply sculpture. Rodin and Michelangelo for characterization, for physical expression. So yes, museums were always a part of my artistic growth.
Okay, that's great to know. So I think the last thing I will ask, and this is to each one of you, is just to hear, as much as you're willing to reveal, what your future plans are and what you're working on, and just you know, for our appetite.
I'll start, and then maybe Alma, and then my dad can tie it up. But as I'm sure for many people out there, it's really been a one day at a time kind of approach, because things have changed so much in the last 4 years feel like 4 months feel like 4 years, I think, to a lot of us. So many changes, my parents going to Israel in a week, which we weren't expecting, and all that. So it's really been a day at a time, trying to stay creative, trying to find a way to keep vital and interested and interesting, and sort of just appreciating how much the whole situation has reminded us how temporary and changeable life is, and trying to flow with that. So that's been my focus.
Thank you. What about you, Alma?
Yeah, pretty similar. I think I've been like kind of working on saying no to a lot of projects that are in my heart, and trying to write my own stuff, which is very challenging because I definitely have a lot to learn about how to do that. Becoming a better cook.
As we are all.
Yeah, and really missing now my mom and my dad and everybody in Israel, and hoping that the gates would open again, and we can be together one more time, at least.
Yes, definitely. I have a comment here from Shulamit Bahat. This has been a fascinating, enlightening, and enriching conversation. Thanks to each of you, Moni, Boaz, Alma, and David, probably Daniel, as well as the panelists we have not seen, Mina. בהצלחה ובאהבה תמיד שולה. Okay, so I will add, first of all, just remind everyone, creating a character for whoever hasn't watched it yet is available online through firstrunfeatures.com. And we definitely, the four of us, recommend that you watch this beautiful film. And to our panelists, Moni Akim, Boaz Yakin, and Alma Har'el, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure having you all on this talk.
Thank you for having
us.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone that watched this talk. And have a good day or good evening, depends where you are.
Thank you, Dad.
Bye, Moni.
Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for having us on.